Do you use an attitude adjustment? In this video, I'm going to teach you a quick and easy trick that will literally change your basic thought processes. It's the eye patching technique. Eye patching is a very simple energy intervention to stop negative or obsessive thinking and mind chatter. And it will only cost you about $2. Pretty cool. You may know that most negative thinking, which can have devastating results in a person's life, is the result of habitual left brain L mode thinking that sees reality through distortions of the past. Yet influencing brain activity by temporarily shutting down L mode and training the mind towards whole brain thinking is actually quite easily achieved. Our thinking process arises as a synergy and integration of activity in the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Each hemisphere has a unique style of thinking and sees the world quite differently. The left hemisphere is the logical, rational, verbal, critical, time-bound thinking that processes sequentially, focuses on what it recognizes, breaks down into smaller parts, looks at the details and differences, and attempts to simplify and reach a conclusion based on small bits of information. By contrast, the right hemisphere holds the intuitive, non-rational, non-verbal, present moment, analogical, metaphoric, spatial, relative thinking that makes the leaps of insight, connects things, sees and encompasses the whole, synthesizes, and can transcend ordinary consciousness. An interesting view is the left brain as the ego-materialistic, divide and conquer mind that enables us to dwell in the physical world, and the right brain as the higher spiritual mind that keeps us connected to a higher reality operating in our lives. Both modes of thinking are equally important to effectively live fully as a human being. In healthy whole brain thinking, a person is able to reconcile both the world of matter and the world of spirit. Most people today have been subjected to education that greatly favors left brain or L mode thinking from very early on in life. L mode thought processes are primarily habit-based. Consider this: 90% of what you thought yesterday, you will think today. And the content is largely the result of thought patterns established in childhood. These childhood thought patterns tend to focus on what's wrong or potentially threatening because they emerged from instinctive survival strategies that were triggered when, as a child, we experienced trauma or felt threatened in any way. Thought patterns act as filters to sensory input from the external world. They cause deletion, distortion, or generalization of this input with great loss of information. The result is an internal representation of reality that may not be a close match at all to what is really out there. These internal representations trigger thoughts and emotions, which create a person's experience of reality, or their internal state of mind. Not only does negative thinking make you feel terrible, but your internal mental and emotional state sets up an energy vibration in your body, which acts as your broadcast frequency, your call letters to the universe, and inasmuch it determines what becomes manifested in your reality. Habitual negative thinking serves no good whatsoever. Think about it. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten. So, until you change the way you think about things, the things you think about will never change. It's like trying to find a solution while being in the problem mindset. Putting an eye patch on the right eye at any point during the negative thoughts instantly slows down left brain activity, making it impossible for the brain to keep the thoughts going and thus releasing the mind from its obsession. people with obsessive negative thinking, especially those suffering from depression, chronic anxiety, compulsions, obsessions, or excessive mind chatter, benefit from eye patch therapy to help stop negative habits of the mind. The eye patching technique, sometimes called pirate therapy, is really simple and easy. All you need is an eye patch, and you can find these at any local store like Walmart, Walgreens, or Target. They're usually found in the health or the eye care department, and they usually only cost a few dollars. Putting a patch on one eye provides your brain with a new perspective on life. Even for a short while, eye patching can significantly change your perceptions and your underlying beliefs. Eye patching tends to balance brain hemispheres. What most people will first experience with eye patching is an increase in visual acuity, a sense of lightness in the room, and an overall lessening of stress and strain on the eyes. With one eye patched, one brain hemisphere tends to become hypersensitive, intensifying, while the other seeks to compensate, becoming hyposensitive, lessening. This imbalance creates a state wherein the person has two completely different concepts of the perpetual world. One concept is that being directly fed from the uncovered eye to the brain. The other concept is that being shared from the uncovered eye through its governing brain hemisphere to the other brain hemisphere. This condition strengthens the communication bridge between brain hemispheres and tends to create a paradigm shift or a change of thought patterning, thus ultimately promoting a better right-left brain integration. Conditions with the potential to improve with eye patching: obsessions, compulsions, fixations, chronic fatigue, chronic intrusive thoughts, chronic anxieties, frustrations, chronic pain, chronic grief and sadness, conflicts, chronic over or underweight, anger or rage, chronic fears and phobias, chronic depression, excessive mind chatter, and chronic substance abuse. And this is just to name a few. Okay, now how to do the eye patching technique. Place the eye patch over one eye. Either eye will do. Adjust it to fit comfortably. The patched eye must remain open underneath the patch. Closing the eye sends a different signal to the brain and will not have the same effect. When selecting an eye patch, make sure the patched eye can remain comfortably open. Wear the patch for several minutes, gradually getting to 20 minutes or until you feel uncomfortable, whichever is less. Then place the patch over the other eye for several minutes, building to 20 minutes or until you feel uncomfortable, whichever is less. Practice patching one eye, then the other, until you are comfortable wearing the patch on each eye for 20 minutes each. If possible, patch eyes at least twice per day, morning and evening. If you feel distressed, take off the patch. You've probably uncovered an issue that needs to be cleared. Consider setting up a session for assistance in releasing whatever issue was triggered. Eyes are crossed to the brain hemispheres. The right eye inputs to the left hemisphere, and the left eye inputs to the right hemisphere. For most people, the left brain, accessed through the right eye, is the detailed, verbal, repetitive hemisphere. But some people are switched. A simple exercise to see which hemisphere runs in L mode is to patch the eye and describe a room in your home. Which eye open leaves you feeling more irritable? That's the eye that should be patched to stop the destructive mind chatter. Activities to do while eye patching. Reading. Practice reading with one eye patched, then the other, for a few weeks to improve speed and comprehension. Just prior to any test or examination, during preparation time to assist in comprehension and retention of material. While listening to verbal instructions or during a presentation, patch the eye that clarifies the material to you. Listening to Baroque music, Handel, Telemann, Beethoven, and Mozart enhances the patching effect. Remember to keep eyes open while listening. I also recommend eye patching during a conflict with a family member. For greater positive results, though, both participants should patch, usually the right eye. And also whenever you're in a state of frustration or you're experiencing obsessive mental looping or negative intrusive thoughts, put on that eye patch. Although rare, what you may experience after eye patching: slight physical discomfort, nausea, headache, possible physical cleansing, diarrhea and nausea, or sweating and cold symptoms. Clarity or clouding of thought. Usually a clouding or confusion will arise before a clarity. A lessening of mental clutter after a period of increased mental clutter. A lessening of overall stress after a period of increased stress. A change in visual acuity. You may want to have your eyes checked by a qualified optometrist if you notice a major change. And warning, do not eye patch during times when depth perception is important, such as driving, operating dangerous equipment or machines, cutting with knives, or while walking up and down stairs. Please use common sense while using the eye patch. I hope this video has inspired you to go and buy an eye patch and try this simple yet powerful technique for yourself. I also look forward to hearing about your experiences while eye patching. Also, thanks to those who taught this technique to me and to the following pages of resources. Thank you again. Love and light. Debi Rose, Catalina.